What's up, guys? This is Josh. As you can see, I got a haircut, shaved my hair off. Basically, this video is it's not really a response video. It's more like kind of my own perspective on it. I was just watching Benzo8686 Sega Genesis Memories video, and it made me want to do my own kind of perspective on that too, because I grew up with it. It's not my first console, of course. The NES was, like many people, but I didn't get into the NES as much as everybody else I knew at the time did. It just wasn't my thing until my parents got the Sega Genesis. I don't remember exactly when they got it or how they got it. I know they got it from our Sears, our local Sears, for I think it was close to $200 at the time. I want to say maybe $179, somewhere around there. But anyway, I remember they got it. It was the one they got was the Sonic the Hedgehog 1 variant, actually. I'll just point to it. Right there. It's not the exact same one, but this is the one that they got. And how I know that is because they got a mail-in away. When you bought, I think, a certain one, they came with a coupon that you could send away to get the sequel to it, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, which ironically this is the Mega Drive version, so that's how I know that it was a mail away. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. So we got the Sega Genesis. I'm really young at the time. I was born in '89, so I think we got ours around '92, '93, somewhere around there. So I was really young at the time when we got it. My brother, he's older than me. He was 8, so that would make me about close to 3. Anyway, I remember growing up, and I want to say Sonic was probably the first game, like everybody else, that I played and loved. And its sequel, of course, Sonic 2. But the game that me and my brother played a lot was, I'm not prepared for this, so bear with me, was this one. Probably a lot of other people's favorites too. Mortal Kombat. Me and my brother could play for like hours playing this game. Well, not hours, but we would play a lot until one of us gets, upset with each other. Of course, me being me, when I was younger, I ruined our manual. I freaking colored in everything. Although my brother did too, but he actually did a pretty good job coloring in like Scorpion and Goro. That's my brother's thing. And then, funny thing is, my brother actually wrote down, I think, some of the fatalities in the notes section. So yeah, that's pretty cool that that I still have that. But yeah, Mortal Kombat, and especially its sequel, Mortal Kombat 2. Now this is the one that we played a lot. We played it more than the first one. My brother knew like probably almost all the fatalities, just about, and I memorized most of them for the most part. But yeah, this game right here was the game that we played. We played with our friends, Dave, Big Dave, and Little Dave, or DJ as his name. But I do have a memory of Sega Genesis. I have many, but this is the first one. I remember the day my dad brought home this game. Mortal Kombat 3. I think he sent it away to get it. He brought it home, and he's like, "Hey Josh, come here. I want to show you something. Don't tell your brother." He opens up the box. This game was inside, and it was awesome. We went to my grandma's house. I remember that day, and we showed him what came in the mail, and he was stoked. I mean, I didn't get into the third one as much. He did. My brother loved the third Mortal Kombat more than me. So that one, that's a very, very good memory. Most of my memories of the Genesis are in my kindergarten years. My second favorite memory of mine is about this guy right here. Now, a lot of people don't remember what the Sega channel was, and I'll refresh your memory. Basically, it was a subscription service through the cable company at that time, which allowed you, if you got this peripheral, you hook it up to your Genesis, and basically every month you get like up to 50 games, like different categories. Like you get like role-playing, sports, fighting, I think strategy, and then you'd also have different menus for like cheats and like tips and hints and stuff, and like preview, like I wouldn't say previews, more like information about like a new game that's going to be coming out soon at that time. But I remember the day I was coming home from school, from kindergarten. Yeah, I was in kindergarten at that time when we got this, 95, 96. But yeah, I came home, my dad's like, "Hey, guess what we got?" And we went into the living room, and he showed me, this was hooked up to our Model 1 at the time. And we don't have it anymore, but we had a sticker that was on the side of our TV stand. We had a giant wooden TV stand that had like a door on the side for like VHS tapes, and like an underneath where we kept our game system, and then our TV, and then we had like I want to say like a glass side to it. But anyway, I remember we had a sticker that showed the games that were on there when we first got it. I remember a couple titles, one of them being Real Monsters, and I think Sonic the Hedgehog was one of them, and I think I know Road Rash was on there. That's another memory I'm getting to in a sec. But yeah, this thing just like, oh man, I'm so glad like I got to experience it. I didn't get to experience it very long because it didn't last very long, but I do have very good memories of this. I remember they would change the menu layout every month too, like something different. Like if it was Halloween, they had like a Halloween themed menu, and then I remember they had like an underwater menu, and then it was so cool. The games that I distinctly remember playing on here, and then I ended up renting at our local video shop, were Zombies Ate My Neighbors was one of them, and I want to say Beavis and Butthead, I think, is one of them too. I remember renting those ones, but I remember playing them on here as well. Oh, Earthworm Jim was another one too. So, the Sega channel, which brings me up to around that time that we started going to our local rental store a lot more to rent video games at that point. I mentioned this in the previous video, but I do remember the main games that we rented from our local video shop, which was Splatterhouse 3. I do remember renting Haunting, starring Poltergeist. I remember every time we went to our local video rental place, this game was always taken out. So we started thinking that someone may have just kept the game, because every time we go there, you wouldn't be able to rent it, and that sucked. Like, cause we were only able to rent it once. So, but I do have very good memories of that game. Like I said before, I used to rent. Let's see, I'll just show you a couple. This one. I was introduced to this game, Game Ground. I remember renting this a bunch of times. Just go around facing bad guys, collecting different characters that had different powers and weapons and stuff. It was a great game. Funny enough, I actually rented this once at my local video rental store because I remember the movie, didn't realize there was a video game until I saw it. And I'm like, and I played it and it was alright. It's not the best game. It's alright though. It's not. But let's see. Other games that I can think of. This one. Very good memories with this game. My friend back in kindergarten, I don't know if I mentioned this in the video, but I'm going to mention it again. My friend back in kindergarten named Joe. He, I remember I had spent the night at his house a couple times, and I remember at that point I had Splatterhouse 2, and I got Splatterhouse 2 from the flea market. My dad actually bought it for me because I didn't go at that point. I just told him to look out if he finds a Splatterhouse game, buy it for me. And he did. He got me this one, Splatterhouse 2, for $5. I remember seeing this one being available for rent at our local film fest at that time. This is a different video store though. Not Starlight, where we rented Splatterhouse 3 a lot, which is a different game altogether. I didn't know. I actually played the third one before I played the second one. I never knew anything about the second one until later. And then that's when my dad found it at the flea market and bought it for me and played it. But anyway, I remember I'd spent the night at my friend Joe's house with that game, and he rented a couple games from the local video game store as well. He actually rented Beavis and Butthead once, and I remember he rented this game, Road Rash. I got introduced to this game and I thought it was awesome. Just, I don't know why. I think it's because it's a different kind of sports game. It's not your typical sports game. This game you can actually like fight people on your bikes and stuff. It's more like a fighting style racing game on motorcycles. I liked it so much that I didn't know they made a sequel. So I remember going to flea markets at that point, and I found Road Rash 2. I think it was like $3 for it. Road Rash 2. Pretty cool. Another game that actually I have a lot of memories for, and I didn't actually originally own it until later, was this game right here, Altered Beast. Now, I was introduced to this game through my friend DJ I mentioned earlier. I remember me and my brother was more friends with him at that point, and he lived like across the street from us, like over here, and he had a Genesis too. And he had a bunch of games. My brother would always bring over like Mortal Kombat 2 and like a couple other ones. But I remember he actually had this game. And I remember playing it over there. Me and my brother played it over there. It's a lot of fun. And I remember saying, I'm going to get this game someday. Because I thought it was awesome. And I remember seeing it at the flea market. Granted, it's $15. Yeah, we paid $15. My mom actually, it was either my mom or my dad paid $15 for this game for me. And what's funny was me and my brother were fighting over what game to get, because it was either this game or on the on the other side, my brother wanted this game, Maximum Carnage. And ultimately we got Altered Beast instead. So that's that one. trying to think. I guess I could go back to the games that we originally had with the system growing up. Like I mentioned before, Altered Beast. Another one being Aladdin. That was a really fun Disney one. We would play, me and my brother would play that a lot. He got a lot farther in that game than I did at that when we were younger. I can't find them at the moment, but the other games I remember that we had growing up were Mickey Mania. That was the one we used to bring over to our friend DJ's house a lot. All the Mortal Kombats. Sonic 1 and 2. I didn't get introduced to the other Sonics until actually Starlight Video, which was one of the video rental stores. Sonic 3 was the one I rented, and Sonic 3D Blast I rented there as well. Fun times. Our local Giant Eagle, actually, at that point, I remember they had a Eagle video rental section, and I remember seeing, oh wait, not this one, the first one, Echo the Dolphin, the first one, and then the game that I rented there, I remember, and actually, I know I'm going on a tangent, but my cousin, I think it's my cousin, all the way out in Bradford? I want to say Bradford, but I'm not 100% sure. But he had a Genesis as well, and I remember when I was young at the time, he had the 6-pack, and I remember renting this at our local Giant Eagle as well. This was fun. 6 games on one cart. You can't beat that. You really can't. If you're thinking about collecting a Genesis, first game should be the 6-pack because it's 6 games right there, one cart. Okay, back to what I was talking about. I'm trying to think, because I'm looking at my my shelf of games. Okay, here's a good one. Flea Market. I found this game, Ghouls and Ghosts. It's hard to see. Ghouls and Ghosts, $2. $2, complete, in mint condition too. I'm like, yeah, I'm buying that. Hard as hell to play, but it's a fun game. One of my favorite game stores. I actually talked to a friend of mine on Facebook who actually remembers the same store. Not a lot of people remember the store in my area, but Endless Entertainment. I think I've showed you the thing in the past, but that was the game store where I really started getting a lot of these old games again. Games I didn't have for my collection already. One of them being actually, let's see, right over here. This one right here, Columns. I always wanted to borrow this off of my friend, but he would never let me for some weird reason. I remember him bringing it over when he spent the night over here my parents' house a couple times, and I remember seeing this game. It's like Tetris, but different, but not. But it's a really fun game. I really liked Columns a lot. And Endless Entertainment. When I first heard about that store, first walked in. And this is many times. I'd go over to the Genesis shelf. That was the first shelf I'd always go to, and I'd look at their $4.99 games. They had shelves. They had like 2 shelves full of boxed and loose Genesis games, and I would just go through them, pick out like the $4.99 ones because I was on a allowance at the time. I didn't have very much money, so I could only pick out like a few games like every week, and I'd go there and I'd get them. I remember the first games I bought there were Columns, another one being Comic Zone. That was a fun game that I remember my brother playing a lot. I think we rented this from Starlight Video as well. Clay Fighter. I know this was a Sega Channel game that we played. I remember playing this on there. Another game that we used to play on the Sega channel that I actually got at the flea market for, I think, $7. I think I paid for this. Was Booger Man, a pick and flick adventure. Very interesting game. Let's see. Endless Entertainment. Okay, going back to Endless Entertainment. I remember getting another game, Earthworm Jim, paying $4.99 for it. Such a really good game. Classic platformer, you know. Its sequel I played on the emulator. I'll get to that section of this video in a minute. I'm trying to tally up this part. Let's see. Other games that I got from Endless Entertainment that I remember getting. I remember the Game Genie. Now, I didn't know at the time that the Sega Genesis had like a cheat device. I knew that like the PlayStation had like Game Shark and, you know, Code Breaker and all that. I didn't realize the Genesis had a cheat device, and I always wondered like if they ever made one for it, and sure enough, they made the Game Genie, which was really cool. I remember paying, I think, $8 for this. Actually, I still got the, oh wait, no, that's for the NES one. Never mind. But I still have that. I kept that as a, like, a remembrance of that game store. Yeah, Stimpy's Invention. Another game that I remember, I think we rented, I remember DJ, I think, rented this game and brought it over, and we played it on the Genesis. My favorite level of this will always be the freezer level, where you're in the freezer and you gotta get out of there through the ice cubes and stuff. Crazy game. But I remember that one a lot. Interestingly enough, another game I know my cousin had back in Bradford was this version of Spider-Man, which was called Spider-Man vs. the Kingpin. Not to be confused with Spider-Man the animated series. There was two different games on the Genesis, and I think on the Super Nintendo as well, that were just called Spider-Man. It's kind of confusing, but yeah, with those ones I remember. Oh, another game that we played on the Sega channel that I didn't care for, but we tried it. I tried it out anyway. Sonic Spinball. I remember seeing that one on the Sega channel, and honestly, I didn't think much of it. I wanted to get into it because I thought it was a kind of a cool idea, but I just can't. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, okay, I can talk about that. One of the last games I bought from Endless Entertainment before they closed their stores was this one. Toe Jam and Earl. Now, I remember renting this game, or actually no, I remember seeing this game at Starlight Video, but never rented it. I didn't know what it was. It looked odd to me. That's probably why we never rented it, but I remember the first time I played it, I want to say, I think the first time I played it was on an emulator. Afterwards, on a computer, the either Gens or Genesis or whatever it's called, at the emulator at the time. But I remember playing it on, I think I played it on there, and that's how I got introduced to it. Okay, another early flea market find. My local one before they closed it down and we had to go to the Waterford one. This is the Erie one I'm talking about. Was Samurai Showdown. I remember getting this game for $5. And yeah. Very interesting fighting game. There's a character in there that literally looks like Freddy Krueger, who's green, because he's got the big claw thing. And I always liked playing as that character. I thought it was kind of neat. Man, how long is this video so far? Well, only 5 minutes, not too bad. Feels like it's longer, but it's not. Anyway, okay, back to an emulator story. The game I actually used to play a lot on the emulator, believe it or not, and it's not a very, very good game, really. I don't know why I used to play it a lot, but it was Bubsy. The original Bubsy. Don't ask me why. Maybe it's because it's kind of like Sonic, but it's not. It's not as good or polished as Sonic is. But I remember playing it a lot on there. Don't know why. That one and on an emulator, I used to play a lot of games on it. You know, games I didn't own. I got introduced to games I never thought of renting. I got introduced to. I know my most favorite game, and I've talked about this many times, but my most favorite game for the Genesis is Zombies Ate My Neighbors. Now, the first time I played this was on the Sega channel. I remember me and my brother used to play it, and I remember I used to rent it from Starlight Video before they closed shop, and then I bought my copy. My dad actually bought it for me through a video game store online at the time. I think it was called Recycle Video Games or something like that. And we paid $15 for it, and they shipped it out to us. It was so cool. Another game that I remember that my brother rented a lot, actually, and played a lot, was X-Men 2 Clone Wars. Because my brother was a big Marvel guy. He liked comics. He liked Spider-Man, X-Men, comics, Iron Man, that kind of stuff. He has a lot of the trading cards. The like really, really, really artistic trading cards or whatever. He's got like a big binder full of them. And yeah, I remember he used to play this game a lot. Here's a funny story about this game right here. Terminator 2 Judgment Day. My mom, when she used to take me and my brother shopping, sometimes she would go into Conneaut, Ohio or whatever, and she would go shopping down there. Well, there was a video store down there called Video Update, and I don't have the exact copy of this one anymore, but I do have. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It'd be under S is SU. Actually, it'd be under ST. And for some reason, oh, there it is. Okay. Back to what I was talking about. Yeah, it's still on there. Okay. But yeah, there was a video store. I don't know if you could see that. Video Update. Anyway, me and my brother went in there, and we bought 2 games there. I got T2 Judgment Day, and he got Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition. Because we didn't have them. And every time I'm on eBay, and I see a case that has that sticker on it right there, Sega Genesis, I know it was from a Video Update. And then every photo shows the cartridge has that sticker on the back, so that's how I know. Because all their games had that sticker on it. So I thought that was kind of neat. But anyway, yeah, I got T2 Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Not a very good game. Not a very good game at all. It's matter of fact, my copy, I traded it in to Endless Entertainment, and I got something else for it. I got a different game for it. I don't remember what one, but yeah. Alright, jumping ahead, as soon as I get this game back on the shelf. jumping ahead. When I went to my 2-year school for graphic design, that's what I went to school for. I had a colleague there. I would tell him about what I was into, collecting Genesis and stuff, and he told me something about when he was in the, I think it was Navy or Army or something, he get a shipment of weird old thrifty items or something like that, and some of the items were actually old Genesis games that he said that I could just have. So I went over to his place, and he actually gave me a bunch, or he actually gave me a few. I'm trying to remember which ones that he did give me. I do remember some. Sec. I don't know where they're at, but I remember exactly what ones they were. One of them being Thunder Force 2. I'd like to get Thunder Force 3. Better game. A couple of them, Jurassic Park. It's on my shelf somewhere. Desert Demolition, starring Wile E. Coyote and the, I can't remember the bird's name top of my head. Roadrunner. That's it. Roadrunner. That's my phone going off. Okay. I'm probably gonna cut this short soon. But yeah. Lots of different memories, lots of different places that I go to get some of this stuff. I even got a couple of games that I got from Tennessee. You know, different flea markets. Mostly from game stores like Endless Entertainment or The Exchange is where I got most of my collection from. Online, eBay and Amazon. I just got my collection since I was 9-10 years old. I'm 25 now, and yeah, I'm at 321. I still got a long ways to go, but I'm getting there. This is a 5-page list that I got off of price charting to give me an idea of what the games are going for at the moment, a rough estimate, just so I can get an idea of how much I'm going to be spending on the next game. I was at the point kind of going for the higher priced ones and down, but I don't know. I'm thinking about just going alphabetical now, because I'm kind of just procrastinating over my collection now. Just kind of, thinking about it, what next game I want to get for it and whatnot. That's why I got this. I got the Mega EverDrive, so I can test out a game, see if I want it to be the next game I want to buy, basically. But alrighty, I'm gonna end this video now because it's getting kind of long. But thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing. I know, well, you're not sharing, but thanks for listening to my memories of my favorite game console, Sega Genesis. It's definitely one of the best systems ever created, 16-bit systems, and it does deserve more love and attention than it kind of gets at the moment. It's kind of pushed to the side. Everybody wants to collect Super Nintendo and NES and all the other systems, but the Sega Genesis is kind of just, it seems like a lot of people are just kind of just eh. But the funny thing is, though, at my flea markets, I don't see Sega Genesis games anymore. All I see is if I do see older games, Nintendo and Super Nintendo, but I barely see Genesis games. It's getting to that point in my area. It's wow. So I literally have to go online to get them. But anyway, this is Josh. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you later.